Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased.
Except ours.
I'm Colin.
Craig.
Daniel.
And it's been over 40 years. We finally have the trilogy to the new Halloween trilogy. That was a direct sequel to the original. And last time we did this, we talked about the 2018 one and Halloween Kills. And Halloween Ends finally came out last Friday, on Peacock, hold the P. And I, for one, did not like this movie.
Oh, I absolutely hated this. It was horrible.
I thought the previous one was one of the worst things I've ever seen, and this managed to top that.
So, first things first, it's not doing too well critically. Has a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes, 57 audience score, has a 5 out of 10 on IMDb. Halloween Kills got a 5.5, which isn't much better, but I mean, this is averaging a 5 out of 10 on IMDb, which is all user reviews, bunch of shills and whatnot. That's big rough. That's pretty bad. And yeah, like you guys, I agree. Halloween Ends is really bad, and I believe I said Bring On the Stupid because Halloween Kills was brain dead. But this just felt tired and like they didn't know what to do at all.
I mean, to me, it felt like fan fiction, the way they had these characters. Like, it's so bad, I feel like, some alone person wrote this story.
Well, 4 people wrote it, but
I would say it sounded like an elementary kid wrote this.
No, I would say a high schooler who worked really hard on his script and worked on it before bedtime.
His deadline was at midnight, and he started at 11:50.
So let's just get into spoilers and whatnot. The movie begins with this new guy named Corey a year after Laurie and Michael Myers' rampage.
I thought it was 3 years, right?
No, no.
It was 1 year. And
Yeah,
then
it's
it
1 year,
jumped
then it jumps
3
3.
years.
Will you
My
just
bad,
let me
my bad.
talk?
Oh,
So it takes place.
making monsters out of all of us.
There's two kinds of evils, Colin.
I'm gonna mute you. This kid Corey is babysitting this bratty child on Halloween night. His parents are really rich because the movie makes sure to show you the very high vaulted ceilings and the big spiral staircases. And they're going down the block for a Halloween party, whatever. He's being a terrible babysitter, so the little kid runs away and goes upstairs. Corey goes after him. The kid locks Corey behind a door. And Corey's like, oh, come on, take it easy. It's not fun anymore. So Corey kicks the door, and his force is so strong when he kicked the door that knocks the kid off the banisters of like the third story house, and he falls off the rails and lands in front of his parents as they're walking in, and he dies.
And, like, blood splatters, and they
Yeah.
look up, and he has like.
When
has
this
a knife
happened,
missing.
I was completely shocked because I thought it was going to start with Laurie and the daughter, or Laurie and Allison. I thought it was going to start with those two. And it starts with these people who have no idea who they are and whatnot. And it felt very odd that they would go this route. Establish somebody else. It felt very odd.
I thought
I was laughing.
Well, yeah, my jaw was dropped because I was not expecting the kid to fall off and
Yeah.
die.
I was expecting Michael Myers was going to be in the house and kills the babysitter, but leaves the kid, or kills the kid. But I was expecting, because they were talking about how the kid was scared of Michael Myers and everything, and they're setting up that way. So I'll give them credit. They pulled the sneaky one on me when they kicked the kid down the 3 stories. So, but I was expecting Michael Myers.
I was just laughing because it was so comical. Like, the kid just doesn't get like hit. Maybe he falls down the stairs. No, he goes flying over the banister and like comically lands in front of the parents right as they're arriving, and like blood splatters everywhere.
So then the story picks up 3 years later that the town is healing after Laurie and Michael Myers' killing spree. Laurie's writing a memoir, and Allison's living with her because Laurie inadvertently got Allison's parents killed. and a whole bunch of people in the town. And then it goes back to Corey, who is in a salvage yard, and he gets bullied by high schoolers.
He's like
Which again,
24 at this point.
what?
He's 24 at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very odd. Like it's almost like a comedy when he just getting bullied by kids, and then I believe is this when they push him off like a off
No, no,
a
that
freeway,
was
or
later.
that was
That
later?
that was later.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, this is when he injures his hand, right?
Yeah, and then Lori shows up and wards the kids off, and then
Oh yeah, you
because
know what? You're right.
and
This is at like the gas station.
yeah, and then Lori's like, "Hey, you want to get him back?" and pulls out a switchblade, and they deflate the kids' tires.
Yeah, they're acting like high school jocks, but they were part of the marching band of their high school.
Yeah,
Wait,
the one kid
really?
had a varsity jacket.
Yeah,
Did you not see his one friend?
they were
Craig?
talking about the marching
He
band.
was yeah, he was twirling. The one kid was twirling the drumsticks the whole time.
Honestly, I didn't want to watch this, so I was not at full capacity watching this. So I might have missed that. I thought they were like, I don't know, part of the basketball team or something.
No, they're the marching band. You fool.
Well, it makes it even funnier.
So while at the Corey goes to the hospital, Allison's a nurse there, and then they start to develop a weird relationship where it's everyone knows that he's like a killer, quote unquote. Because apparently they didn't show any of the courtroom drama that would have happened. Because think about, let's say, The Fugitive, where in the beginning it shows the aftermath of the scene, then it shows like the whole court stuff. You would think they would have this to show the huge mental strain he would have to go through of going through court, trying to prove his innocence and whatnot. But they completely don't. They stay away from that, which is kind of shocking because I feel like it would have been better to show what he had to go through court, and that's a big hurdle in itself.
I also think too, like if he was found, not guilty, you think most people in the town would be like, okay, well, we followed the trial because it's a big thing for our town, and obviously he was not guilty. So I don't know why everyone's like. So I mean, I can see what kids would make fun of him for, but everyone's still kind of holding it against him. I find kind of odd.
Yeah. And also too, like it would have been interesting had they showed like they focused a bit on the court case, considering like this isn't too long after Michael Myers just rained terror on the town with Laurie and Tommy. So it would have been, and they're talking about how the town is still struggling and healing, and then you throw in this case where a kid gets murdered on Halloween night, like that would have been interesting. But let's just blow past it, and he gets bullied by a bunch of high schoolers from the marching band.
Yeah, then he develops a relationship with Allison, and it's again very weird.
Again, it's like it's so comical. It's like it's literally love at first sight.
Yeah, part of this felt like a tween romance novel.
Yeah.
The bad boy.
Yeah, like
He's not really a bad boy.
No, he's just a murderer.
I mean, a murder. Like he was like some nerdy. I think he's an engineering student. Gets accused of killing a kid. Gets let off, and now he's like, he's
angst.
Yeah,
It's angsty.
yeah, he's
Didn't
outcasted.
didn't one of the high schoolers call him like a pedophile or something like that? They call him like a psycho killer. I'm pretty sure they called him like a pedophile. I was like, oh my god.
They're really lobbing accusations at him.
Really going for the jugular.
So Corey and Allison go to a little Halloween party, and he's dressed as like, I don't even know. He has like a mask on, obviously, to hide himself from everybody. Then he starts going crazy. He gets some liquid courage in him. He starts going crazy. They take pictures, and of course, at this bar, there's the mother of the child who died in the beginning, grieving at the bar with Lindsay Wallace, and then she just starts like chewing out Corey, and then he leaves.
Yeah, I think she says like, "Oh, I'm glad you're out enjoying your night at this bar. I have to relive my kid dying every day." So, like,
Yeah, why would you be out at a bar on Halloween? Wouldn't you like?
why would you still be in that town?
Well,
Like-
that's a question we've been asking throughout these whole 3 movies. So Corey decides to leave Allison and leave the party, and he starts walking home. And then those same group of high school band geeks show up, bully him, and I think he pulls out a knife on one of them because he's like he had enough of their nonsense. And they push him off like a freeway, and he stumbles down the side of it, and he sees like a sewer and a homeless guy. No, he wait, no. I lied.
He was
I just remembered.
unconscious.
Michael Myers, but we don't know it's Michael Myers yet. Drags his unconscious body into the sewer. I forgot about that part.
Mhm.
And this is when I was like, "What is happening?" Because when they show Michael Myers, he's like breathing heavily, and he's obviously you could tell he's weak and frail, and he's been living in this sewer like a homeless guy for like 4 years because they said they haven't seen him since 2018, and I again this is when I was like, "What is this?" He grabs Corey by the throat like he's about to kill him, and then it shows from Corey like you can see Michael Myers' reflection from Corey's eyes, and he lets him go, insinuating that he sees evil in him.
Yeah.
That's
So
like
bad. That
I
was
I was
so
already
bad.
lost, but this kind of was just too over the top even for me.
I think at that point I paused it and just walked away for like a second because I was like, oh no, it's like there's no way Michael Myers, this guy's about to become Michael Myers' disciple.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like a fan fiction, like this bad. Yeah, I'm the outcast. No one gets me. He gets a girlfriend, then like becomes Michael Myers' accomplice, and
Craig,
then
it
tries
feels
to.
like a fan fiction of the guy writing himself into the story.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah.
he's the Michael Myers, the accomplice,
Yeah.
and I feel they changed the ending of the movie too, so maybe he could have done more damage till they changed the ending. But we'll get to that.
Well, of course, of course. So after that, jeez, Corey kills the homeless man with Michael Myers, and Michael Myers gets stronger. So like that's going.
No, he didn't kill the homeless man with Michael
Oh, Corey
Myers.
kills him, right?
Yeah, he just walks out and the homeless man starts harassing him. And he's like, "Why did he let you
Oh
go?"
yeah, yeah.
And then Corey just like freaks out and guts him, and then puts his body in a tent and just walks away.
Yeah, because I don't, I saw it not even a week ago, and I don't remember some of the stuff anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I watched the movie
Cause then,
today, so I can already forget about it.
cause then he goes to Allison.
All right, how about you take over then?
Me?
No, Daniel. He
Well,
seems to have like a
I'm,
picture perfect memory of this
I,
movie.
well, I'm slowly trying to piece things together. Because then he goes to Allison to apologize about the night, right? And then when he goes up, that's when Lori, like, he startled Lori, and she like looks him in the eye, and she then senses something's wrong about him. And then him and Allison go out to this restaurant, and he explains everything. No. He shows her the house where the kid died.
I want to say even before that, I remember watching this. Like they're walking down the street and he goes, "I killed somebody," and then like they walk together and like they start
Oh
holding
yeah,
hands and getting close together. I'm like, did I hear that right? Did he just say I killed somebody? And she like
yeah.
wasn't freaked out. She like
And
Well, he just said to her, he looked at her dead in the eyes.
These hands killed somebody.
because I thought he was referring to the homeless guy. He was admitting to him. Like he just admits to another murder. I mean, I know they showed that he was referring to the kid, but still, that's like a very
yeah,
weird thing to like.
yeah, and
I don't know.
It's
yeah, there
something
was
Anakin would do to like woo somebody. He's
yeah
talking
the
about
dial.
Padme. He's like, I killed the men and the women and children too.
Yeah, they were trying to make him like sound like but
He was
and
angsty.
then he and then he goes then they go into the house and he shows her like the blood stain from where the kid died. And then it's like that weird camera of like them looking at you and she's like, I see you or something like that. I was like, what is happening with this dialogue? And then they go to the restaurant, and that drunk cop that she dated was there with
He
his
looks like
buddy
he's like 20 years older than her.
yeah, celebrating his buddy's birthday like it's a Denny's. And he's harassing her, whatever. And then him and Corey get into a bit of an argument. They leave, and then that's when the cop follows Corey. Corey lures him down because he somehow knows he's following him, lures him down into the sewer, and then that's where him and Michael Myers get the guy. And when for some reason Michael Myers is like really weak, like you're saying, um, and then that's when they get the guy incapacitated, and then he like hands Michael Myers the knife and he goes, "Show me."
He's like, and that's the thing too. When he was like stabbing him, he had the body on top of him.
Yeah, I
So it's
thought
like
Michael Myers was gonna accidentally stab him.
that's what I was thinking
Yeah,
too.
no.
Like, are you getting yourself stabbed right now? Like, are you trying to get
Yeah.
hurt? But no, I guess that was just I don't
Yeah.
know.
And then Michael Myers like gains his strength again.
See, I know this is a pointless exercise trying to understand like the logic of the movie, but when he first broke out in 2018, he wasn't weak and he hadn't killed anybody in like 40 years. Now he's weak, hiding in some sewer because he hasn't killed anybody.
Well, I mean, he would have been dead unless he was eating the bodies of the people he was taking into the sewer.
I mean, I think it's like I said, it's a pointless exercise, but like
Yeah.
nothing makes sense.
Well, there's also I'll just take over for a second, Dale. Then you can go back. There's also Allison wants to get a promotion, but it's clear that one of her coworkers is with the doctor. Or they're having like an affair and whatnot. So then
Yeah.
Corey and Michael Myers go to the doctor's house and kill both the girl who got the promotion and the doctor. And it was just like, again, it was so weird. Like,
Yeah. Especially that one shot of where Michael Myers like picks the girl up and puts her up against the wall and like stabs her into the wall, and Corey like weirdly takes out his bloody hand and just puts it up against the glass. And I'm like, what is this? First off, that's evidence. You're gonna get caught. But second, like,
It's evidence, son.
but like, I was just like,
Good old
what
pig.
is this? Are they trying to like infer that Corey is torn between Allison and Michael Myers? Like, that was just rough.
I mean, it was just so bad.
Uh, I like even I kind of forget what happens next.
so after that, um, he fights Michael Myers. Oh no, I take that back.
You missed some stuff.
Yeah. So after they do that, they kill those people. Or am I forgetting something else? I'm looking at the Wikipedia page.
Wait! I remember now.
Oh, he begs Allison to leave Haddonfield with her.
Oh,
and
you
no,
you missed no, before that.
what do you mean before
Lori,
that?
remember because
She threatens him.
Corey was sleeping in the house.
That's
where he
after.
murdered
That's
the
after
kid.
that when he tells Allison to leave with him first.
Oh,
Then Lori finds Corey sleeping on the spot the kid died in the house, and has her back up against a chair. I don't know if she was holding a gun or not. I don't remember. I don't think she was. But she was just pretty much saying like "I will kill you" or something.
because apparently he was like acting like Michael Myers, like staring at people at the distance through a window.
Yeah.
She's like, I saw that same look in Michael's eyes 40 years ago.
Look, you couldn't even see his eyes.
Yeah, it's just some guy breathing heavily in a mask.
So then on Halloween night, because this movie mostly takes place like a couple days before Halloween, Corey goes back into the sewer and he fights Michael Myers over his mask and wears it. And this is so weird because it shows Michael Myers is all strong again, and then Corey kind of just like slaps him
Overpowers
around and beats him. And you're telling me like a whole like 30 people who are committing like gang violence couldn't beat Michael Myers, but this scrawny, loser, angsty teen could?
Yes,
It was the evil inside of him, Colin.
he's becoming more evil than Michael. That's why he got stronger.
So then Allison leaves Lori because Lori's saying like, "Oh, whatever, this is Michael doing this," and then Allison wants to leave Haddonfield.
I just want to add, like their relationship, like went like from 0 to 100, like over the course of like a week or two.
No, I think it was a course of days, like 3 days.
I mean, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but you're
No,
probably right.
don't. It's like 3 days.
It goes from we just met and like she became like obsessed with him, and now it's like we're gonna like basically we're gonna get married and leave
Yeah,
Haddonfield.
because she said that weird dialogue of like, she's like, I knew who you were, and when I saw you, I felt like I knew you, or like I was drawn to you. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Just like how Lori and Michael are drawn to each other.
The only
It's like
thing
She's
poetry
drawn
and
to him.
rhymes.
She's drawn
the
to him.
only the only logical
Yeah.
the only logical thing Corey said in this entire movie is what the audience was thinking. Where
Just leave.
where him-
Let's leave.
yeah, he's like, why did you leave? She's like, oh no, all my memories are here. You know, And then you think back, her parents were killed here.
Her friends were killed.
Her boyfriend cheated on her, and they got brutally murdered in front of her. Like,
Her ex-boyfriend's father was brutally murdered.
you're at a job that you hate, and your fake friend was banging your boss, and she got your promotion. Like, what memories are you staying for?
And you're a nurse too. You can get a job anywhere.
Yes. So then Corey decides to go on a rampage where he kills all those bullies that were beating him up in the salvage yard he worked on earlier. He kills his mom, and he kills that DJ guy that they were trying to set up from the beginning. And then the part that made me laugh the most was Lori trying, like, pretending to attempt suicide to lure Corey to her.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I was just like, I was thinking to myself, because I'm smart enough to know that they weren't going to do that because not only have I seen the trailers, but that'll just be incredibly stupid. So I'm
But
thinking, like, what are they doing? They're
I was
clearly not going to do
confused.
this.
Yeah, because like she's obviously not going to kill herself. But, like I don't understand. Like why is she even pretending? I didn't real. How would she even know Corey was in the house?
Yeah. So then, as she's
Corey.
about to, she like shoots Corey and he falls down a flight of stairs, and he's like all shot. And she said something like, "What, you really think I was going to kill myself?"
I was like, how do you even know he's in the house? So like she like maybe saw him like walking in the
So then,
distance.
this is when it gets juicy. Corey's all hurt on the floor. He's gonna bleed out, and then he hears Allison like coming in, or about to come in the house, and he says like, "If I can't have her, then no one can." And then he takes the knife he was gonna use for Lori, and then he stabs himself in the throat and kills himself. And then Lori and Allison sees this and thinks that Lori killed her because she's a big paranoid freak, because she is. And then I think Allison leaves. Then
Well, so
Michael
this is why I think
Myers.
it's like a some bad fan fiction because like if I can't have her, nobody can. Like he's like stabs and stuff like that. I feel that's only something like a really bad dumb person would come up and think, hey, that's a good idea for a movie. It's
Yeah, let's.
tragic. It's like Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, I was just about to say that.
But then Michael Myers bursts through. Oh yeah, then it says he kills Corey because I forgot that Corey was like still somehow alive to see Michael Myers do this. He kills Corey, and then Laurie and not Laurie and Michael Myers finally face off as the movie was building up to, as this trilogy was building up to, and it's very underwhelming. As their fight is happening, Allison sees the radio tower on fire because Corey kept on saying like 100 times, "I'm gonna burn it all down or burn it down and leave it in the past." And then she's like, "Wait a minute, he's a crazy person." So she goes back to help Laurie, and the two manage to get Michael Myers onto a table, and like they take knives and stick it in both his hands and his heart. Still not dead somehow. They slice his wrist, and that's what kills him.
They also sliced his neck.
Well,
That
yeah,
too.
because
That's after they remove the mask, but
don't forget that not only did she cut his wrist, she slit his throat, and he still grabs her by the throat and almost chokes her out. And that's where she's like, "Do it." And then that's where Allison comes running back and snaps his arm.
and then Michael Myers is dead. And to really show that Michael Myers is dead, the whole town get together and they have the Michael Myers body on top of their car. And here I was thinking like he's not dead. He's gonna break out of the car and probably kill Lori or something. And that didn't happen yet. Then they get outside the car. There's this big shredder from the salvage yard that Corey worked at, and they throw his body in. And I'm thinking before they start it, Michael Myers is gonna wake up again, grab Lori by the foot and drag her in with her. But no, they show him get shredded and turn into like mulch.
Yeah, honestly, I was expecting him to break out too. I was not expecting him to actually get shredded. Like I was just hoping, maybe one last, stab. He kills like some random extra, then he dies.
Yeah, or he takes Lori, he takes Allison, kills her. I don't know. And that's the movie. The movie ends with Allison and Lori reconciling. Allison leaves Haddonfield, and Lori was writing a memoir. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. She finishes her memoir, and she starts talking with the Deputy
Deputy.
Hawkins. Yeah. What is that noise in the background?
What noise?
Oh, I heard something from Daniel's side. And yeah, that's the movie. That's
It's really
4 years worth of movies for a very disappointing and stupid ending.
They should have kept Tommy alive.
Could you imagine?
Hey, he was more enjoyable than Corey running around.
Yeah, Tommy was like a barking dog that just wanted to be let off his leash so he could inflict damage. Corey was just a loser. He was so angsty.
Because again, this feels like a fan fiction. Like you could see some person like in high school who, I don't know, was accused of something, but they kind of got away with it. And like this is their way of like ranting, like I become the killer. I take it on my bullies, and then because you ever like look at fan fiction, it's very easy to see like what they're writing about and whether they're venting their frustration. And this is what it feels like in a way, at least with the Corey stuff.
It just felt like it was they just scrambled to mesh all this together just to get Michael and Laurie fighting at the end, and that was it.
But they
It's
barely fight at the end too.
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing too. Like, there was no build up. I mean, the 2018 had, I guess, some build up, but this was like she wasn't even like really thinking about him, and he wasn't doing anything to get her. He was like he was hiding in some sewer like a rat.
Yeah, no, again, he only got to Lori because he just wanted his mask. It wasn't because he seeked her. He just wanted his mask. He could care less about Lori. And that is the dumbest thing in all of the trilogies, or this trilogy, because Laurie's been saying, oh, Michael Myers wants me. But is it like a rivalry if you hate one person and the other person cannot care about you at all?
Like
Like,
the Patriots and the Jets.
yeah, it's like, what would you call that? That's not even a rivalry. That's just you actively hating somebody and they could care less about you. If anything, that's more insult. That should be more insulting to Lori that he could not care less.
She
And that
ruined so
yeah,
yeah.
she has so much anger towards him.
Not only did she ruin her own life, but she ruined the lives and of so many families in that town because of her hatred for Michael.
But just like it shows really like her granddaughter's life, getting her own parents killed and her own daughter.
Yeah,
Like she's the real monster. He's making monsters out of all of us.
I was shocked to see that one lady from the one couple. Remember the one whose husband Michael Myers was like bedazzling with the different knives in the kitchen. He made her watch.
yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, I was surprised she was still alive. She got like stabbed in the throat.
Oh, she was.
You could survive those, Daniel.
Oh, my bad. Well, no, remember because Lori, after she had that like weird, awkward like teenage exchange with the sheriff, like they were like the awkward
Deputy.
love, um, and she walks out like all happy and stuff, and then the one lady's yelling at her, blaming her for her boogeyman. She's like, "Look what she did! Look what he did to my sister!" And it's that lady. She was in a wheelchair and she couldn't speak.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, then she was like blaming Lori, and everything she was saying was true about Lori.
Yeah, like if you didn't go out and harass Michael, none of this would have happened. Just you should just let him be.
Kind of true. Kind of true.
Just let him stare out his window from his room. It's not hurting anyone.
I was gonna say that it's a very odd that the whole Corey thing because they were trying to guess how his evil or Michael's evil transferred to him, but it's like Michael wasn't just evil; he was just some crazy guy who, killed a girl. Like there's no origin story from like they're trying to make an origin story for like the next Michael, which is odd because he never had one. He killed his sister, broke out and just started killing. Like that's all he does is he just kills. There's no origin story. So him trying to have an origin story just feels odd. Like, how does someone like Michael get created? Doesn't make sense. Stupid.
Well, it definitely starts with don't accidentally kick a kid 3 stories, and then don't let high schoolers bully you.
I think that's the real thing. Don't let high schoolers bully you when you're out of high school.
Yeah, when you're an adult, you should just beat them up. Like, don't let them bully you and make fun of you.
Like Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah, take the Cobra Kai route and just beat up a bunch of children in the name of karate.
Yeah, it's okay because you know karate and you defend yourself.
Yeah, I pointed this out to you, Colin. I said Cobra Kai and this trilogy have something in common with the extremes. Cobra Kai people can't let go of grudges. This town, in the Halloween, no one can leave the town for some odd reason. No one wants to leave it, no matter what. The town could get nuked and people would still stay in the nuclear wasteland.
This is my home. I got memories here. It's like, well, your home's gone.
Fallout 5, Michael Myers. God.
Yeah, it's just so bad. Like, I think the worst thing too is that Halloween Kills. It was really bad, but it was also kind of funny in a way. Like, evil dies tonight. Like, we still quote that, but this was just boring. Like, there's absolutely
Yeah.
nothing to remember about. Like, I'm already forgetting about it. And I just watched it like 3 hours ago.
Craig, not only is it boring, it's very hard to watch with the dialogue too. I had to pause and walk away from my computer during some of the exchanges between Allison and Corey.
That was so painful. Like, I
And
can't believe they
granted,
had
this
that.
is a theatrical release written and directed by a bunch of professionals, and it felt like something that was in a film school.
I think you're giving that a little too much credit there.
No, it's. I think that's a good description of it. It was very jarring to hear this and to see this, because these movies aren't written well. All of them aren't. But in terms of writing dialogue, this one was the roughest.
Yeah, that was the thing that really like like actually cringed at a lot of the dialogue. Like I know I said, I know we say like, oh, that was cringy, but this actually made me like had to pause the movie multiple times to be like, oh god, like especially in the beginning.
Well, that was like the relationship stuff for me. Like, I couldn't stay listening to that.
Yeah. Well, I was just, but in the beginning, remember when the parents they're about to leave and like, don't get into too much trouble, and then Corey like turns and like looks directly at the camera as it zooms in slowly in his face. He goes, "Don't worry, it's Halloween," and does like a smile, and I was like, "Oh
A little
no,
wink, wink to the audience. Am I
yeah,
right?
yeah, nothing's gonna happen tonight."
I think also with this movie, you, the other two movies, I guess you could, if you're a weirdo and you could be like, oh, I like these movies because there's cool, creative kills. Like Halloween Kills, there's that one kill where this girl was gonna shoot Michael Myers and then he like hits her arm and then she accidentally shoots herself. That's enjoyable. Michael Myers killing a bunch of firemen, sure, why not? Michael Myers doesn't do anything cool when killing people. And let me preface by saying that I think it's lame if you think the best part of a movie is a serial killer murdering people. I think that's very lame. But
Well,
at
no, I,
least
I
you
agree
could,
with your point.
yeah, at
Like,
least you could be like, oh, that's cool, that's creative. There's none of that in this movie.
'cause even like Corey's kills, like it's like nothing special.
It's
Like,
just stabbing. Not only is there lack of killing in this movie, that sounds weird to say, but Michael Myers doesn't kill a lot of people. He kills like 2 people, if that.
because that often
Yeah.
begs the question, like, if this is the way the movie is, then who is this really for? Because it's not for Halloween fans who like the horror and the killing. It's certainly not going to get anybody who's into like romantic movies because the romance is so bad. I feel like it's gonna like make your skin crawl.
Speak for
Like,
yourself.
well, I guess the ultimate question is who is this movie made for? Like, what were they trying to accomplish? Because clearly, it is so bad. I can't imagine
Wait,
anybody liking it.
how many writers were
Four.
were
It's four.
four? It honestly felt like they didn't give each writer the full plot, and they were just like, "Here, write this part of the story. Here, you write this part of the story," but they didn't tell them to connect it. It was just, and then like when each writer handed in their piece of the script, they're like, "Okay, that's fine," and then just threw it together.
I don't think. I think the problem with. I don't think it's a problem of nothing making sense. On paper, what happens makes sense in the movie. It's the execution of how you do it, like the romance of Allison falling in love with a killer, or killer, quote unquote. I guess you could. I'm not going to make this argument, but one could make an argument where like, it's an interesting dichotomy of uh, a killer. She likes a killer, and her family's been killed. Whatever kind of nonsense you want to say. On paper, it might be interesting.
Well, that's what I was saying before.
Big
Like they're
stress on
trying
might.
to.
Yeah. Big stress
How
on Light.
a killer like Michael Myers gets created, but like it's just so bad.
Yeah, in execution, it is horrible because he is mopey the whole time. He is frowning. He's honestly like I'm not, I can't clinically call people whatever. I don't have that credentials. He's depressed. He is 100% a depressed man. He always looks like he's about to cry.
What I'm saying, but like it doesn't even make sense like how he would become a killer. Like because Michael Myers spared him. Like okay, yeah, some high school kids made fun of you. Whatever. I mean, is that really gonna drive you to become a serial killer? No.
Also, his first kill didn't even make sense. It wasn't even. It was with someone that didn't do anything to him. It was just a
Just a
homeless
homeless
guy
guy.
harassing guy. He just started gutting him. I was like, you. It would have made sense if his first kill was those high school kids who I thought he was going to go directly after. Even
You
the
know,
cop made
maybe
some sense.
maybe what they could have done is he actually like him and one of those high schoolers rushed for the knife, and the knife lands in the kid, and then maybe Corey feels bad at first, but maybe he starts to like it, or he thinks to
Yeah,
himself he deserved it because he was attacking me, and then he starts
yeah,
to like it. But here he
yeah,
just kills a random guy,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
he's like,
Like
ho ho ho, I like this now.
yeah,
Huh,
like he
huh."
goes to pull the knife out of the kid, and the kid's like, says like "f you, you pedo or you kid killer," and then it just and he snaps. But I did think I thought when they when they threw him off the bridge, I thought that they were going to rush down there to check on him, and then Michael Myers was going to come out and kill them.
No, Michael Myers only wanted to kidnap Corey's body for experiments.
Why did he never kill the homeless guy?
How is he even
Yeah,
alive?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm telling the only way would be he would have because the homeless guy said anyone that went down there disappeared. So he obviously was still killing people, just not out in the open. But the only thing that would have made sense is he would have to eat their bodies.
Michael
Or okay,
Myers is a
maybe
cannibal.
I don't know
Confirmed.
if that was implied, but
maybe killing gives him strength.
no. So the one thing that I found really funny about this movie was the fact that like the the beginning of this movie after the kid gets killed, they take time to show all the news footage and like the years since Michael, they're saying he's disappeared, but like crimes are still being committed and the town is like still
Oh
struggling with
yeah.
yada yada yada. And I just love that the town is like is struggling and everything, and now Lori has found this new peace, and like she now has like found her own new direction. She's finally past it all. It's like, well, that's nice for you, prick, but look what you did to the town. Like now you want to find your peace and write your memoir?
Yeah, it
Like,
was very odd because they would show like I think there's like they showed a murder and then they showed someone hanging themselves from all this paranoia.
yeah,
And it's like, oh yeah, we're so happy for you, Lori, that you get to sit down in your nice house with your granddaughter and write a memoir while people out
yeah.
there are like practically killing themselves because of the damage you and Tommy have done.
But, but it's funny too because in the first Halloween 2018 one, she was so paranoid about Michael getting her, she made her house like a trap. Now he's literally still out there, and she's not worried at all about him coming to
Yeah,
get her.
she's baking a pumpkin pie.
Like now is the time to like prepare and lock down if you're really worried about him. When he was he was in jail for 40 years, he's not gonna get me. Or he's like, I don't know. She just doesn't make sense. Her
Well, no,
the
she
way she's
didn't.
acting.
She wanted Michael to break out if he ever had that chance in 2018.
But like I'm saying, he was in jail. There was no way he was really gonna get to her. And she, was living like a paranoid person. Now he's legitimately still out there. They never got the body, and she's living, her best life, not worrying about him coming to get her.
If anything, she should be like physically going after him and trying to find him because of what he's taken from her. I mean, granted, if Laurie was smart, she'd be like, "Yeah, this is my fault. Like, I got my own daughter killed. I dragged her into this." But you think that extra motivation of her daughter getting killed by Michael would be enough for her to still be actively pursuing him? But no, she wants to write a memoir. Apparently, enjoy
Who's gonna read
life.
it either?
What?
Who's gonna read her memoir? Like, who would care?
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
town hates
Yeah,
her.
yeah, exactly. The town can't let that go.
I
well,
mean,
Every
maybe
she,
time,
she
like, yeah,
maybe the Views book club or something. I don't know. Would recommend it. Whoopi Goldberg and whoever.
I think
yeah,
like some true crime podcast, like, oh, I read your book, even though they probably didn't read it.
yeah.
Let me
Because
get
look
you
at
on the
like
podcast.
like everyone they saw in like anytime they went out in public, either her or Allison, like, oh, I know you, and they'd like make fun of like I'm like, how are you making fun of Allison? She truly is a victim in all of this.
I know, right?
She's the
Like
biggest victim of this. She never
yeah,
wanted to be a part of it. She never asked for it.
she just wanted to
Her
go
cute,
to a dance and not get cheated on by her boyfriend.
yeah,
That's all
and
she wanted.
pretty much everybody she knows, but her grandmother are dead.
Yeah.
And then she's living with her now. It's just
Yeah, I understand the hate for Lori, but Allison, like why people like pick on her, it's like she she almost got killed by him.
Like no one realistically makes fun of like attempted victims of serial killers. I can't think
Yeah.
of a single person who's been made fun of. Like, hey, you almost died to
yeah,
kiss
that's
your
like only in
daughter.
movies or whatever.
What a loser. You almost got choked up by a guy in a William Shatner mask.
Like
Oh,
people are
what's
like,
the
wow,
matter?
you're
You
living.
almost got stabbed to death by Michael Myers.
I wouldn't cry if I saw my boyfriend get his head broken on a staircase.
Like, you're right, it's only in movies. Like in real life, I can't imagine a single person doing that. Because
If
once again,
anything,
what's there to
yeah.
make fun of? You survived.
If anything, in
Yeah.
real life would be the exact opposite. You probably wouldn't want the attention, but everyone would be like, "Oh my
Yeah, they
god!"
would
Like the
commend
fake
her.
sympathy.
Yeah.
You know, you have those people like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry for you. There's anything you need." You know.
You get tons
Yeah,
of
like
interviews. Like, how'd you survive? How'd you do it?
yeah.
And
It's
like,
really
oh, I
courageous of you to stay in the house that your mother was murdered in.
Yeah, like watching even let's say people who've been kidnapped in those interviews. No one makes fun of victims of any kind of violent crime. Nobody does that. That's just out of touch reality. That's not a thing, but apparently this movie thinks it is.
Like what was it that DJ who like was like kept making like Michael Myers jokes and like anytime someone would be like, you have to stop doing that, I'd be like, like screw you. Like it's my radio.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he was the one like where they were on top of the radio station. He comes out and he's like, I know both of you, and he's like making fun of them, and I'm like, all right, take a shot at that guy, even though he was proven innocent. Whatever. If you don't want to believe that, the trial, whatever. But her, that makes no sense.
yeah,
But
it's
Yeah,
just
so normal people don't do that, but movie was made by normal people.
it's just really stupid, this movie, and which is saying something because that's what we called Halloween Kills. We said Halloween Kills was a dumb movie, like lacking brain cells, like your brain was knocked out, and then the brain being asleep for that time, like all the brain cells died. This movie's just so much worse.
yeah, I
I
I would have.
I can't think so. As we all know, I've seen all the Friday the 13th movies, and never has any of them stooped to this level of stupid, which is really saying something. They knew their formula and they stuck to it. But this, I guess you could say maybe, it's a double-edged sword. Maybe you want to commend them for doing something different, and maybe, but you can't commend them for doing something so stupid and then having them have Corey essentially be the real killer of the movie until Michael Myers usurps him. That is the dumbest thing you could do in a Halloween trilogy movie where there's been setting up since the beginning that it's Laurie versus Michael in the final act of the final movie of the trilogy. And how they mess that up so badly is beyond me.
See if they wanted to do that. This I could see them attempting this in the second one, not in the first or the last. I could see them like this being like a weird bridge between the first and last. Like Michael Myers, after his attack, inspired this kid in the years between the first and last, and then they had to deal with the kid, and then Michael comes back out for the final showdown. Like that would have been better. Not saying that the idea should have been put out there, but this one would have fit more as the bridge between the first and last one.
Yeah, if you
And then
alter
like
the ending of this one, the third one, you could actually swap. It'd make more sense. You swap Halloween Kills with this. Halloween Ends is the second movie.
and then you have Tommy Doyle in the last one riling up the town because it's like, all right, Michael Myers came back at in 2018. They think he's dead. Now in the second one, this kid is on a killing spree. Then that justifies the town getting riled up and be like, this has to stop. And then Tommy Doyle gets his gang of dogs and they go out looking for him. That would actually That would actually make sense. But no. We get this weird love movie and Michael Myers in it for 5 minutes. And he only wants to kill Laurie because his mask was in her house.
Yeah, I know we said this a bunch, but that is the biggest head scratcher of this trilogy, is how Michael Myers just wants nothing to do with her.
Like, please, it's almost like a stalker. She's his stalker.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It honestly makes zero sense.
Honestly, I would have given this movie a complete pass if in the beginning when they're showing the news footage, they showed a statue of Tommy Doyle with the bat.
Oh, yeah,
We
Huckleberry.
have a statue built to him.
I would have been I would have given this movie a complete pass if they did that. But no.
Because we talked about how Halloween Kills is stupid. They didn't know what to do with Laurie, and they just had her inside a hospital for the whole movie. But just like, geez, this movie and having her taunt Corey and have her fake her death or a fake attempt suicide to lure Corey in, it's just like, this is too much.
This is
Yeah.
why I don't like horror movies. Like, I don't think I've ever seen like a good,
I wouldn't even
slasher
call
horror
this a
movie.
horror movie. I
Well,
don't
I think
know.
that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I don't even know what this is.
Well, that's what I said before. Like, who's this even for? Because I don't think you're appeasing anybody with this movie.
Yeah.
Well, Craig, for a good slasher film, it's obviously none of the Friday the 13th movies, but I think I said it. The first Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a good slasher movie. That movie was just, when I was watching it, not to go on a tangent or anything, but it was just like genuine terror going on. I was like saying to myself, when is this terror going to stop? This is horrible. Like, horrible in a good way.
Just some big guy running down people with a chainsaw.
Yeah, it's genuinely terrifying. It's way more terrifying than Michael Myers like pace walking himself towards you with a knife. This guy full on
I think,
sprints.
well, because I think with the first Halloween, it was supposed to be like anxiety, right? Like this guy's like you always feel like some guy's over the corner.
He's like lurking in
watching
the
you.
shadows. You can't see him really.
Yeah, so it's a different kind of, I guess, feeling they're trying to invoke, but still, it's like even at its best, like, Again, this is just. I feel like years down the road, this can be remembered as some weird like, oh yeah, that exists. That awful movie to the end of the trilogy.
Well, you just wait till they reboot it in 10 years and they make an even worse one.
I don't know if they can make a worse one than Halloween Ends.
We said that about Halloween Kills.
Yeah, I don't think they would make it worse.
Yeah, I did say that probably. That sounds like something I would say.
Yeah, that's bottom line. Halloween should have been a one-off movie like Jaws, like we said in the beginning, and leave it as it is.
Was it supposed to be like an anthology series?
That's what they tried to do with the third one, and everyone hated it, so they had to bring back Michael Myers.
I feel like that would have been a better direction.
Well, again, Michael Myers prior to this trilogy was just some guy. And now they're trying to introduce that he's like an incarnate of evil who gets stronger with every life he takes.
Yeah, you can transfer his evil to other people now.
I don't know. I don't think he transferred his evil. He saw Corey was like
It can corrupt them.
evil. And he just needed a push or something.
The bell has been rung.
I think that was what it was getting out of. Like, he spared him because he saw he was just as evil as himself. He's like, I'm going to have this lapdog around for a little bit, I guess.
I mean, if he really wanted a disciple, he should have corrupted Tommy Doyle. Imagine the damage those two could have done together.
Because I have nothing like positive to say. It's just so bad.
Yeah, I don't have anything positive.
Yeah.
Because this Halloween Kills, we could say was like stupid fun, where nothing really made sense, but watching Tommy Doyle rile up the crowd was
Yeah.
Sheriff, your department has failed. Failed.
Dude, it's only been a few hours. Like, calm down, man.
This is the second incident to happen in 40 years.
Oh, just take
See,
it
that's
easy,
why.
man.
See, that line would have fit if this was if the events of this one had happened between Halloween and Halloween Kills. That's where you could be like, you guys have failed us. You keep failing. Like this, Michael Myers is killing all these people, but no. But yeah, the first one is easily the best overall, like actual movie. Halloween Kills is the most enjoyable, ironically, and this one you don't need to watch. It's save your breath.
But seriously, don't watch it. Like, it's not even like as a joke. Like, really don't. It's really just a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at least with Halloween Kills, when I was watching it, I was somewhat engaged. I was like, all right, this is stupid, but I'm liking it. Not sure why this old couple is playing with the drone and with Big John and Little John and whatnot. But I was like, all right, this is somewhat entertaining. But this one, like I said, I paused it when with the dialogue it was getting so bad. I paused it and I got up and I walked away for a little bit, trying to like, all right, come on, I can't let this movie beat me. I have to go watch
Evil dies tonight.
Can the movie beat you? Well, I only the reason I finished it because I had to finish it for this stupid episode. Otherwise, I would have like stopped after maybe 15 minutes.
And even with the ending too, like for me, it was just like a big whatever. I didn't really care that they killed him because it wasn't like there was a big relief after they killed him. I guess the characters want to convey that like, oh, he's finally dead, but I didn't feel that at all. It
Yeah.
just more of like a whatever.
Yeah, it was almost like you just killed some random guy because he was barely in this movie. It wasn't even like the main villain.
Yeah, it was
I would have.
Corey
Yeah, they
running
should have
around and
shredded Corey.
no, instead he has to stab himself in the neck. Then Michael Myers finishes him off. But yeah, skip this movie. This movie is there's no reason to see it. Watch it on Peacock if you want to.
No, don't really just don't watch it. Don't need like
Don't go to the
honestly.
theater. Like honestly, you could have a curiosity, like okay, if it's that bad, let me see in the theater. Don't go to the theater. Don't watch this in the theater. Watch it on Peacock if you have the subscription. If you don't have it, oh well, don't watch it.
I feel like the best advice I could give somebody is don't watch this. Like really, just don't. No matter how big of a fan of Halloween you are, please don't watch it.
I think you'd be insulted if you're a big Halloween fan and you watch this and this is what 40 years has done to these characters is it's pretty laughable.
Colin, I have to ask, since you're more of the horror movie guru, if you will, is this the worst horror movie you've ever seen? And I don't mean like horror and bad, like worse in terms of like schlock. I mean like just overall like actual bad.
Yeah, it's a lot worse than all the Friday the 13th movies. Because those movies were dumb, but then again, they didn't take themselves seriously. And you have this supernatural hulking figure running around, killing whoever. But this is just like it's trying to treat itself seriously. It spends most of it's like having a Friday the 13th movie without Jason, really, for most of the runtime. And you have this other guy. And that's why, like, the part 5 failed, because Jason wasn't in the movie. It was just some guy whose son got killed at a home for special children. Roy Burns, yeah, that part 5 of Friday the 13th is equivalent to this movie. But I would say this was worse because at least uh, part 5 had like Tommy flip a kid over a table and like beat him up. There's nothing fun like that.
No, Tommy get a town riled up to kill
Not having some angsty teen in his very underdeveloped relationship
Yeah.
with Allison. Like, oof.
And that's the thing you come to expect and enjoy in horror movies or slasher movies is like the stupidity of the characters. Like it's supposed to be like enjoyable to some degree. Like Friday, it's just a bunch of dumb teenagers who Jason kills in a clever way. Like what was it, part 4? Like where he used the spear gun on the couple in the lake or something like that.
That's part
You
3.
know, no, I thought that was part 4.
Was it?
That
It
was with
might have.
Tommy Jarvis as a kid.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
But this movie, the stupidity of the characters isn't enjoyable. That's why that's the difference between the characters in this one versus Halloween Kills. it's enjoyable watching the town people be inept with Tommy Doyle and they get themselves killed in stupid ways versus this where it's just dumb
Angsty
dialogue.
teen. Yeah.
Yeah. So like yes, the characters are stupid, but there's a difference between enjoyable stupid and most slashers versus this. This is just brutal.
I agree. Craig,
Yeah.
what do you say?
I like I said before, just please don't watch it, just for your own sake.
Yeah, instead of going to the theater to watch that, go and watch the new Black Adam.
No.
Oh my god.
We haven't seen that yet. We can't give a recommendation yet. We haven't seen it unless you're being paid by
I don't need
Chugga.
to see it. I know who's in it, and I recommend it.
Yeah, he's got that big overcoat he's gonna wear in the theater. Don't you worry.
I'm gonna get a lightning bolt tattoo.
All right.
How
But
much
yeah,
did the Rock give you to say that?
shut up. But don't see this
American
movie.
dollars or Chinese?
I do not recommend it. Craig doesn't recommend it. Dan doesn't recommend it. It is abysmal. It is a very bad movie. Baffled that a studio let this be released. Very baffled that they approved of this. Very baffled that a bunch of professionals wrote this script. I'm just baffled all around. This is embarrassing. Any other final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I thank God we did this. I watched it today, so I can immediately forget about this.
Okay, Daniel.
Never goes away, Craig. Yeah, just like take Corey's advice. Just if it comes across your path, just burn it down. Don't watch it. Just burn it.
No, just go to a different town and forget about it.
No, you can't leave the town no matter what. Yeah, don't.
Yeah, this is a bad movie. But this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
I've been Daniel.
Yep. And yeah, that's our episode.